Coming up on Mountain News this morning, Governor Beshear announces some major funding for infrastructure in our region, and a special event all about innovation is set to take place right here in Perry County.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning to you. I'm Dakota Makris. It's Tuesday. Thanks for waking up with us, and it's almost 5 o'clock. Let's take it over to Brandon, who, well, I guess Brandon, you're tracking some rain this morning. I walked out my favorite game again. I tell you, did it rain or did it not?
Is it raining or is it not?
Yeah.
But yes, this morning some areas dried out. We got some pretty heavy rain at the house this morning when I was getting in the shower. But again, you can see here this morning as you look at live pinpoint Doppler radar, some of the heaviest bands are now down in the parts of the Kentucky-Tennessee border areas from basically Bell County back to Wayne County and beyond, and more of that is going to track through there later this morning. So we're in a bit of a lull right now, but it will come back into play later today. 55 Moorhead, Hazard, Somerset, Williamsburg, 59 Monticello, 58 Middlesboro, 49 in Clintwood is the cool spot this morning, 57 in Prestonsburg. Breakfast forecast for you. Keep your rain gear handy because you're going to need it off and on throughout the morning and throughout the first part of the day. I do believe this afternoon, though, we'll start to see things clear out, but it's not going to be a nice day by any means. I think we'll see maybe some sunshine late in the day right before it sets. But then tomorrow, things get even more interesting. I'll have the rest of that forecast coming up here in just a little bit. Dakota?
All right, Brandon, thank you. Well, Governor Beshear says he's done reviewing all the bills sent to him, including a 2-year spending plan. Well, the governor says he agrees with a lot of how lawmakers decided to spend billions of taxpayers' dollars, but he says more could have been done. The governor says he's signing the budget that gives state workers an 8% wage increase and state troopers a $15,000 pay hike. After years of cuts, higher education will receive tens of millions more in funding. But the governor says lawmakers should have included teachers in the mandated raises, and he says a need remains for universal preschool.
We're ready and willing to work with child care, but if we can step back and say, this isn't working, let's find another way to do it. Universal pre-K is the fastest way to get us to where we need to go.
Senate leadership says they are going to reserve comment until the legislative process is finished later this week. Well, yesterday the governor visited Laurel County to announce improvements to water and sewer infrastructure in the area. Nearly $3 million will go towards 8 major infrastructure projects in Laurel and Clay counties, largely aimed at improving the quality of drinking water in those areas. The governor says his cleaner water program is especially important for rural counties where clean water is more difficult to provide.
Well, this investment says to Eastern Kentuckians, we care about you and you count. We are on the precipice of an era of prosperity with the number of jobs coming in, and my commitment is Eastern Kentucky is going to be a big part of it, not left out.
Governor Beshear also announced another $250 million in further funding for the Cleaner Water Program. Well, the governor also helped open a major transportation business in London yesterday. The WB Transport facility will have the capacity to handle more than 100 trucks a day just in receiving alone. 125 jobs have already been filled at the site, with 30 more still to come. WB Transport co-founder Randall Weddle says the 200,000 square foot facility is just phase 1 of the company's plans for the 20-acre site.
We should be breaking ground in the upcoming future for a 375,000 square foot building that's going to be located on the front side of this, and we're also excited about that.
Well, he also says the site will eventually be able to house more than 250 jobs. He says he's also glad he could bring jobs to his hometown. Road work is underway to change the traffic pattern at the intersection of US 60 and Boy Scout Road over in Boyd County. Once work is done, traffic on Route 60 coming from Ashland will have a continuous green light, meaning drivers won't have to stop at the light. Eastbound, the light will stop traffic as usual, but in shorter cycles, allowing vehicles to cross to and from Boy Scout Road more quickly. Traffic turning left from Boy Scout Road will now have an accelerated merge lane.
Something we can do with very little cost that could have a potentially big impact on traffic congestion, by reducing the traffic congestion, as well as, there is a potential safety benefit.
Road work is expected to be completed at the end of April. Well, there's some good news for drivers. Prices at the pump are slowly trickling down. Gas has dropped nearly 10 cents in the last month. Gas Buddy reports that Kentucky is averaging $3.86 per gallon. Nationwide, drivers are paying about $4.10 per gallon on average. Experts with Gas Buddy expect the national average to drop below $4 sometime this week. They say gas prices have reached the 2022 peak, but experts say issues in Ukraine, COVID, and the upcoming hurricane season could still impact prices. A Shaping Our Appalachian Region mini summit is coming to Hazard this summer. The Focus Summit will discuss innovation and entrepreneurship to help grow Eastern Kentucky and its small businesses. The organization is bringing in experts from Lexington and Louisville who have seen growth in those areas.
If there's 100 people that show up and there's 20 of those that have never been to Hazard before, and it sparks new connections with some community members there from folks from across the state or other parts of Eastern Kentucky, to me, that's a successful event in itself.
Well, the dates for the mini summit in Hazard are June 23rd and 24th at Hazard Community and Technical College. Senator Rand Paul is honoring 2 law enforcement members for their heroism. Police say Trooper Michael Sangini was conducting a traffic stop on Delta Court in Cynthiana back in January. Well, a preliminary investigation states the man in the stopped vehicle shot the trooper 6 times. 3 bullets hit his ballistic vest and 1 hit him. Officer Samantha Ferrero with Kentucky Fish and Wildlife was recognized for quickly getting to the scene and taking the trooper to the hospital. She adds that Sangini was not screaming in pain after he was hit, rather he was in shock.
The adrenaline, you have such a high adrenaline rush, don't really know. I don't think he knew how many times he'd been shot or anything like that.
21-year-old Lequan Taylor is charged in the shooting of the trooper. He is facing multiple charges: attempted assault on an officer, unlawful possession of a weapon on school property, and a few new charges were also added after the incident. Well, thank you so much for getting your Tuesday morning started with us here on Mountain News this morning. When we come back, a structure fire over on the West Coast becomes so massive that it's seen all the way in space. That's on the way.
Forecast stays soggy for a little while longer, and some stronger storms are possible in the next 48 hours. I'll have the latest in about 3 minutes.